know who else
Okay,
in?
I'll go.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Curling Stadium Beaumont's presentation of the Hack2House Alberta Curling Series Men's Major. My name is Shawn Joyce, here from the Beaumont Curling Club. 18 teams began the triple knockout draw Thursday night, looking for one of 8 berths through to the championship round starting tomorrow morning. 6 teams have already punched their tickets to the playoffs. There are 4 teams left to play for those last couple of spots. 8 teams left, 4 games here tonight, looking for 2 more spots. Winners of the 4 games in this draw will play again. Schedule time is 6:45 Mountain Time this evening. We're a little bit late with this draw. That's one of these things that happens in a triple knockout. Some of these teams played in the last draw. We end up just a little bit behind. Happy to be joining you here for the match between Sluchinski and Venance. There's a practice session, as always, at these events before the first end, and draw to the button to determine who would have last rock here. It's the Venance team throwing the reds that got us underway. Sluchinski with the yellows will have last rock, and the play here in the first end has come into the rings. The lead for Venance is Matt Tolley. The second with the brush down, Eric Colwell. Sebastian Robillard is the third, and the skip in the house, Venance. And the hit and roll to the back corner of the 8-foot. Not as much risk of a potential steal here, so Sluchinski's going to look for the corner guard. Got one guy in a non-matching jacket, so I always have to wonder if we might have a sub out there, but according to my list, I believe this is the lead, Dylan Webster. The first brush down appears to be Jeremy Hardy. He is the third. Gentleman in the hoodie, I believe, is Kyle During, who is their normal second. And of course, Sluchinski in the house, the skip. With 18 teams in a triple knockout draw, you will get some buys at the start of the event. So actually, in this case, both of these teams were fortunate in that they didn't have to play the opening draw Thursday night. They both began play Friday. So they come into this draw having only played 3 so far, needing to play this game this afternoon and another one this evening to have a chance to qualify. In the case of Sluchinski, the 3 games he played coming into this were all yesterday, so a 3-game day to get things underway. That can be a little hard on the body early in the season. And it's played twice yesterday and once already today. So if he's going to qualify, he needs to look at playing 3 today. And of course, everybody hoping to play 3 on Sunday, because that means you're in the final. That was the 5th rock of the end, so they could start making a play on guards now. I think that was a quick double check on the count, but yes, that is 5 of them already behind you. hoping to roll the shooter into the rings on the other side of the house. Might protect the one behind it, but for now it's just important to get a biter. Becomes a difficult rock for Venance to ignore if you can get it into the rings. Makes the roll into the 12-foot. Glenn asking for the roll all the way across to the other side of the sheet. They have to be a little careful with this one. If they get too close to the nose, they could jam it on their own in the back of the 8-foot. Nice touch shot by Eric Colwell. Comes across the face, makes the hit. Doesn't quite get under the corner guard, but gets to the other side of the sheet and takes the play away from the redstone at the back of the 8. Indication from Aaron Sluchinski, and you can see from our camera angle, from the Hacks, they can just barely see all of it. Aaron wanted to roll under the guards, and I don't think it looks as good from the Hacks. They're wondering about the roll to the other side. If you get the roll towards the other redstone, not think of the double, just roll somewhere towards it. You still could have a chance for a double later on in the end, and that keeps the blank alive. We're on the brush right away. Makes the hit, comes across, will make contact with the second stone. A little over the top of it. Hangs on for a bite. Still the Venance stone sitting shot. Glenn feeling that the corner guard's probably the bigger threat to them right now, so they're going to make a play on it. Keep an eye on the shooter as it comes across. They might actually be able to get that stone out of the edge of the 12-foot as well. He's going to have to hit it thicker than this, though. You'd danger getting your own if he makes contact at all, and it slides right by. Well, Jeremy Hardy now with a chance to make the hit on shot stone. If he can roll back towards the center line, spread his own 2 rocks in the rings out a little bit. Makes the hit, but a little aggressive on looking for the roll, and will roll out of play. So just one sitting in the rings now. Shot stone belonging to Aaron Sluchinski on the edge of the 12-foot. He does have a corner guard. Sebastian Robillard needs to hit and stay here. You roll out on this one, and Sluchinski will come around that corner. And this is really curling on them. They're going to have to go to get a piece here. It slides right by everything, a chance to come around. Brushing's been off and on. He's got nice line by the guard. Now it's a question of where it's going to stop. This might be a little deep. It might be a lot deep, but it does hang on for a bite at the back 12. By sliding that far back, it's actually open past the guard. Venance looking to make another play on the stone on the open side of the sheet. Nose hit would probably have shot rock. He'd like to roll in a bit. Come up to the nose, just enough to stay for shot. Well, that could work out for Venance, because Aaron Sluchinski has to hit at the very least right on the nose or rolled in a little bit, and the angle after you exchange 2 more hits, it's not going to be bad for that double. It's a long distance between the 2 stones, but it'll be a good angle. So Aaron Sluchinski with his first stone here in the opening end of play. He does have last rock, a chance to hit and sit too. Makes the hit. Does roll across to the back of the 8-foot. This is one where it's worth taking a shot at the double. If you don't make the double, you're probably giving up 2 anyway. If you're a little thick on the contact, you actually could roll in behind the corner guard, at least make it tricky. Kind of looks like just on the thicker side of half a rock here. You can see where he's put the broom, and they're playing the out turn, so he's going to be throwing this with some weight. Can't afford to have it curl. Looking to make contact, roll across 8 feet, and only has to touch the second stone a couple of inches. Makes the hit. Comes across, but just a little thin on the first contact, and will roll through the back of the rings. Aaron Sluchinski sits 1, has the opportunity here to draw for 2. Needs any piece of the rings. They did have an opportunity before the game to have a practice session up and back and then draw to the button. So a lot of the play in the pre-game would have been geared towards that draw to the button path. But here in the first end, they have attempted to come around that guard a couple of times, and feeling like they've got a better handle on the speed down this path to the corner. So going to play it again. Plenty of room by the guards. The sweepers really haven't touched this much. Boy, if he comes down to his own, he can't touch it very far. It does start to come down there and will stop. Full 8-foot. Aaron Sluchinski picks up 2 points here with the last rock in the opening end of play. He'll have the 2-0 lead. It's Glenn Venance with last rock when we come back.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Gripper first.
Don't forget your brooms.
Yep, you got it. Yellow.
Come on. Okay, well, what do you got? You got one, you got two, you got...
Just one more throw, please.
You make moments like these possible.
Calling all curlers, novice to pro. Asham Curling Supply's patented rotator disc system lets you customize your slider right in the store. Velcro attachments make it easy to find the sliding platform that's right for you. Shop Asham Curling Supplies, 700 McPhillips, online at asham.com.
It's the Hack2House Alberta Curling Series Men's Major. Saturday afternoon, we've got the C semifinals here. Aaron Sluchinski with 2 in the first. Glenn Venance with last rock as we begin play here in the second end. 4 C semifinals on this afternoon. You can catch all of the action on the Curling Stadium YouTube channel, also available through the Alberta Curling Series YouTube channel. Play began, as I mentioned earlier, Thursday night. The 3A qualifiers been off since last night. They all qualified last night. Reed Carruthers took one of those spots, and then a couple of international teams. We had Takumi Maeda and Yuzuki Murazumi, both out of Japan, qualified through the A event as well. B event qualifiers were earlier today. Evan Van Amsterdam and Trevor Bonneau. And then another international team, a team out of New Zealand, Anton Hood. So those 6 teams through to the playoffs tomorrow morning. Eight teams on the ice now, 4 games. Winners of these 4 games will be right back on the ice tonight to determine the last 2 playoff teams. We've got some rocks in play here in the second. First guard was slightly off center. That one's a little closer to the center line, but again, doesn't look like it's got a piece of it. No tick zone in play here, as well as the 5 rock free guard zone. Bennett's not playing towards the centers anyway. He's down 2. He's got a corner guard up. He's going to try to use it. A lot of movement here at Beaumont Curling Club. You saw last end come around to on the corner guard that came to the back 12 foot was already all the way out into the open when it stopped. Here's another one. Lots of room by the guard. It just bites the top 12, and it's mostly open on the wide side. Aaron Sluchinski could see a piece of that red biter, but this is still just the 5th stone of the end. If you try to come by that tight and you ever crash the guard, it's still in the free guard zone. They've got 2 guards to work with near the center line. Going to try to use those first. And again, this looks like it's got a ton of room coming by, but you'll see them move huge from the hog line in. Boy, at the hog line, that was still on the outside of the edge of the 4 foot on the other side. And if there weren't 2 guards there, it would be partially exposed. That was the 5th rock. They can start making a play on the guards now. I think they're playing the double peel, but he could be playing the run back as well. Might get all 3 if you touch it just right. Oh. Well, he touched the second one pretty thin as it was, and it still went well by the rock in the rings. I don't know if he could get all 3 of them. Unfortunately, he leaves his shooter there. So Sluchinski continues to sit 1. Chance to deal with the corner guard now. Going to try to hit this just slightly on the center line side. Drive it back, kill that stone at the top of the 12 foot if they could. That'd be the bonus. Might be able to roll over and get a double guard on his shot stone as well. Makes the hit. Jams it on that biter, but it's enough to be out of the rings now. Started to ask how much he could see, and I think the response from the other end just came play the run back. Certainly with the amount of curl we've seen here early in this game, if he wanted to make a play directly on shot rock, it's probably there. But so many of these top teams are so accustomed to making these run backs. It's just the comfort level for them is so much higher on these shots. And as soon as I said that, I jinxed him a little bit. That might have caught them by surprise, though. That stone ran very straight. We saw the Venance team actually over curl on one hit last end. They did have one under curl on them. Jeremy Hardy looking to replace the guard on shot rock. Looks like it's a long ways out there, but you know this is going to move from the hog line in. There it goes. Now they backed away from the brush, knowing that if they keep sweeping that, it's going to over curl. Actually stops dead in line to shot stone. That's a good guard and a tough shot to throw on ice with this much swing. Sebastian Robillard, another chance for the run back. Yellow onto yellow. Oh, just by it, I think. Didn't miss it by very much. Not entirely certain that it didn't touch it on the way by, but didn't move very much if it did. Another chance for Jeremy Hardy to replace the guard. This time they're thinking that might have to curl a little bit more. If you're a little bit lighter on these, it doesn't have as much time to curl. The Brushers recognizing that, switched around the other side, brought it as far as they could. He does cover probably 2/3 of it. Looks like they're going to make a play direct on the stone earlier. This is a similar shot to where they had an opportunity earlier in the end and decided to play the run back, but that run back was their own rock. So Sebastian Robillard looking to make a play directly on shot stone now. They'll work to make sure they're by, then you might see them switch the brusher. Yeah, they were looking for the big roll, but after it started to curl, unable to hold it. Makes the hit, but stays in the open off the roll. Chance for Aaron Sluchinski to make the hit and try to roll back under cover. He'd like to come towards the center line. Skip Stone's left to come here in the second. Aaron Sluchinski with a 2-point lead. This is his first. Sweeping for a little extra curl here. He'd like to get the roll under center. Rolls a few inches, but still completely out in the open. First thought for Glenn Venance is to try to roll all the way across the house. There's the yellow and double red guards. He can get anywhere between those and would be covered, fully covered. I don't think the port's big enough to come between. Maybe with very quiet weight. He could just roll behind the center guard as well. I think what's stopping him from doing that, it's one of those shots you know that if you make it too good, your opposition's going to play the run back, and if he makes it, it's his own stone he's running in. He could be buried, and you're forced. They talked a little bit about both rolls. I didn't see what they settled on. Of course, when the ice swings like this also, there's got to be good communication, and the man in the house, in this case Sebastian Robillard, the guy calling the line, has to be prepared to switch the call if necessary. Well, and then they just didn't get much curl on that one at all. Hits the nose. Aaron Sluchinski thinking about the longer roll. With 3 guards over on that other side of the house, it's easier to get buried in a way that he can't make a play on it. It's real tough rolling behind one guard not to leave a chance to either pick it out or play the run through. It'll be a short run through, albeit it will be against a steal. First call from the Brushers. This might be a little more weight than they'd called for. And this is a plan B call. He's on the outside of it. They're going to try to roll behind the corner. Well, they roll behind the corner, but out of the rings. Now Glenn Venance eyeing up the split on the 2 reds. There's a couple of ways you can do it. You hit really thin on the outside. He's looking at half, but I think you're about a quarter. Touch the one closest to the rings on the way by. Try to get them both in. You could do it with the shooter as well. Hit about where his big contact there with the shooter. The stone that you push into the other red will drive it into the rings, and your shooter should roll. Tricky part of a shot like this is always how much weight do you throw, and keeping in mind that we've seen so much curl here already. You have to match up the weight to the broom. You're hitting the first one half a rock or even maybe just a shade less, trying to move a second one in and get about a 4-foot roll. You've probably got to have back line weight anyway out of your hand. Almost through weight out of your hand. This is in danger of over curling. Now you're hoping it's got through weight. Well, it slides by, goes through the back. We end up with a blank end. Glenn Venance will have last rock again in the third. Aaron Sluchinski continues to lead 2-0.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Calling all curlers, novice to pro. Ashland Curling Supply's patented rotator disc system lets you customize your slider right in the store. Velcro attachments make it easy to find the sliding platform that's right for you. Shop Ashland Curling Supplies, 700 McPhillips, online at ashland.com.
Nice attempt there by Glenn Venance with his final stone. That is a difficult shot. It was there. If you're going to have any chance to make it, you've got to have the weight. It's real easy to underthrow a stone like that. Well, if he's light on that one, he probably slides by everything and ends up taking the single, as it is when he curls by. Through the back, he's got a blank. Still has last rock as we begin play here in the third. Center guard thrown up to start the end by Dylan Webster. Now Matt Tolley will look to throw towards the corner. I would have thought a corner guard. Makes that one nicely. Those shots are tricky. They don't look appealing from the hack end. It's just because where you got to put the broom because of the late curl, you're worried about clipping that center guard on the way by. You just have to trust that it's going to curl that much. Nice pair for Dylan Webster here in the third end. Center guard with the first, dead buried with the second. Venance looking at the freeze on the stone that was just delivered. Asked about coming around the corner. That would be tough now. It's a reverse stagger between the yellow guard and the red. You got to throw a little bit more weight. So they're going to opt to come towards the Yellowstone. Wouldn't mind tapping it. Doesn't necessarily need to be behind the tee line, but as long as they get it out from behind cover. Cold freeze too, it's not bad either. It's the initial discussion. This line's much tighter than Webster. This is no tick zone stone. Makes contact and does push it off the line. That means the yellow stone goes back. The shooter removed from play. That no tick zone rule, I think, if I remember correctly, started to be tested about 2 years ago. Was in play for the playdowns that year, I think at Worlds. It has become pretty much the standard in Bonspiel's a national competition now. Kyle During coming right around everything, and you saw that stone as it came into the house from especially from the overhead, almost touched the red corner guard, and there it is, half buried, back of the forefoot. That was the fifth stone of the end, so Eric Colwell now going to make another play on the yellows, but if they happen to crash the guard this time, it's a legal play. Looks like he's got nice line onto Shot Rock. Makes the hit, rolls across, and is in behind the corner guard. Hard to say who shot Rock right now. Both of them buried. Sluchinski's first thought was to hit and roll into the rings. Three guys at the other end liked the run through. So they're going to play that. The key here, if you don't get the rock in the rings, you want to roll off it. You certainly would hate to dead stuff it. This is close. Does double off the two red stones, leaves the yellow for a corner guard. Sluchinski sitting one behind the center. Briefly discussed making some kind of a lightweight play on the first stone just to tap it out from behind the guard, but they all like coming around everything. Boy, he's going to be tight to that stone at the top of the rings. Gets by. Just a little bit deep, slides to the back. 12 might have stopped in time to be shot rock, but when it came that far back, it's completely out in the open the other side. That stops top of the tee line. They're in great shape. Jeremy Hardy looking to hit that stone. I don't think he wants to roll under, but he would like to keep the rock in the ring somewhere. It's just going to roll out of the ring, stay in play. Would have liked to keep that in the rings just because it eliminates the possibility of a blank. Venance thought about the run through, going to play the come around again. Nothing really out of the brushers, just a light clean most of the way down. This has got better room by that stone at the top of the 12, but once again, going to slide deep. This time does stop in time to be shot rock, and he is buried. So Hardy looking to come down to that stone. You touch it a couple of inches, you can sit 2. More important to be buried here. You'd love to be in front of the tee line buried if you could, but a little risky to call that when that red at the back is shot rock. Will come down, nudges the stone back a few inches, enough to sit 2. Another chance for Sebastian Robillard. I'm a little surprised they called this one right down to it. You keep playing freezes in the back, Aaron Sluchinski will just keep following you down. And there's enough time or enough room there between the backstone and the tee line that he could just do it until you are forced to take one. Would be nice if you were Venance team to get one in front of the tee line. Makes the come around, tap back on the yellow. He is shot rock. Skip stones left to come. Aaron Sluchinski will look to follow that stone down one more time. Side brush down early, and they're working a little harder on this one. Both brushes down now. He's got good room by the front one now. Is he going to have enough weight? It will come up short. Full 8 foot. It is second shot. Leaves Glenn Venance the chance to come around from the other side, and all of the discussion here is about how deep do they have to be. They know that Yellowstone that Aaron just delivered is still dangerous if they go right where they just tapped the ice, and that's what you see them talking about. If we end up right there, he's got a short angle slash, so where can we put this stone? That's a good indication of just how much curl there is here. Look at where that broom is. He's trying to get back to probably just touch the center line, maybe a sliver over it. So he's got over 5 feet of ice for this shot, and it's still going to come by that stone in the top of the 12-foot by 6 or 8 inches. All the movement is late. Hog line in. This is going to go sideways. Brushers picked it up fairly early, but just a firm clean at this point. Starting to go now. They actually need this to curl a little bit harder. Will come to rest on the tee line. It is in the 4-foot shot rock, but fully out in the open. Sluchinski taking some time here, I have to think. He's debating whether to play for the double or just the hit and roll in. Both available. So they've opted for the hit and roll in. Look to come just across the face of that, make the hit, roll under cover. He'd be on the button and shot rock if he can make this. Chance to set up the steal. Aaron Sluchinski with his final stone. Brushes down. Line's closed. Can they hold it? Makes the hit. Makes the roll. And he is in front of the pinhole. I'm not sure what Glenn Venance has got left. Maybe be able to pick it across. That's what they're looking at. He's got the double on the other side, but it is risky if you ever run it across the top. That stone that was just delivered would come straight back. It could pick the red out of the back of the 8-foot. You could be looking at a steal of 3. He's going to play the pick. He doesn't even need to hit, I don't think, all of what he can see. The thinner the better, actually. You want to drive it all the way across the red at the back of the 4-foot. You don't want to touch that stone at all. Lose the shooter. It would be stone just biting the back of the 4-foot that would count for 1. If you touch that stone at all, it's probably a steal of 1. Final stone. Third end, Glenn Venance trailing by 2, needs to pick out shot stone. The count is 1 at the back of the 4-foot. And the Brushers are on right away. By the one at the top of the rings, hits it thin and does clear the stone at the back 4. Put a single point on the board for Venance. Nice shot there. He now trails by a score of 2 to 1. Third end, Glenn Venance trailing by 2, needs to pick out shot stone. The count is 1 at the back of the 4-foot. And the Brushers are on right away. By the one at the top of the rings, hits it thin and does clear the stone at the back 4. Put a single.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Big shot for Glenn Venance before we went to the break to pick up his single point. Closes the game to within 1 now. So we begin play here in the 4th. For the second time in the game, we've seen an attempt at a center guard, and this is just a testament to how much curl there is. Over curls the center line by almost a full rock's width. Sluchinski now asking Dylan Webster to throw up the corner guard. Four games on tap here this afternoon. Winners of these 4 games all back on the ice tonight, looking for the last 2 spots in the playoffs beginning tomorrow morning. Matt Tully looking now for a longer guard, and they'd like this to hang on to the center line, so this is going to have to stop. And it will not. Slides in a little tighter and even a little wider than the first one. Sluchinski ignoring the red guards, asking Dylan Webster to come behind their own wide corner. Looks like a ton of room, but you know this is going to go sideways from the hog line in. Boy, look at it go. Buried, and if anything, maybe a sliver out in the open on the other side. Tough to do anything with that, and always a little risky when you don't have last rock to be chasing around the corner. So Venance going to make the play around their own 2 stones for now. Eric Colwell with a really nice draw. Comes around the 2 red stones, gets it in behind and kind of between both of them. A little bit of overlap there. Sluchinski will be looking for the double for sure. Looks like he's looking to hit the first onto the second and on the same side. You could go slightly across the face and maybe get all 3 of them. There's some risk in that. But the first stone would be coming towards your corner guard, and that stone buried in the 12-foot. So it looks like the call is he's trying to hit just off the nose, drive it back, and again hit just off the nose, have both the shooter and the first red stone roll towards the divider. May not get them both out, but as long as he exposes shot rock, it'll give him something to work with. The danger is you over curl, miss the second red stone. Rolls his shooter to a second guard on that second shot stone. First thought for Venance is to play the long guard. That's what he's going to settle on. He was asking just how much of that red one you can see. You have to pick here. You're going to guard one stone or the other. Either you're guarding the guard or guard the stone in the rings. You guard the stone in the rings, you leave them some angle, and they could try to get all three of them. You play the guard, longer guard on the tighter guard. If he picks the one out of the rings, it just gives you a chance to draw a better one in. So that's the one you need to protect. Guard the guard. And it does over curl just a little bit, does protect the stone in the rings. Left enough of that tighter guard, though, that Sluchinski feels they can make a play on it directly, roll the shooter into the rings. The long guard by itself, with the amount of curl on this ice, really isn't protecting shot stone. If you can make the hit and roll in here, yes, Glenn Venance will still be shot rock, but is he willing to ignore two biters to throw the second guard? Sweeping for the curl. This is getting close now. Makes the hit. Rolls the shooter all the way across and in under the corner guard. Left the red stone that he pushed in the edge of the 12. Well, if you were trying to force Glenn Venance into a decision, you actually made that too good, because he's got no chance to go after the yellows now. He's kind of committed. You've got to guard that stone for your life. Needs a tight guard here, and in a perfect world, he'd like to line up all three of those red stones. Gets it overlapped with the top. Needed to come just a little bit tighter to the rings. First thought again for Sluchinski was to make a play directly on the tighter of the two guards, but now looking at the double peel, it could again get all three of them if he hits it right. Wasn't looking for the triple when they played over here earlier in the end. I think this time he is. Looking to hit the first one just slightly across face on the second one. Drive it back towards the stone in the rings. This is close. Might have overcurled on him. Oh, enough to catch the stone in the rings, though. Left 2 guards. Not overlapped now. Glenn Venance still in that same position where those 2 yellows just about impossible to do anything with. So he's committed to coming around these guards. Just letting his team know we can't afford to be all the way back to the tee line. We'll leave a double off the one on the side. Needs to just about nibble 8 foot though to make sure he's shot rock. Out-turn draw here from Sebastian Robillard. Lots of room yet by the front stone. Here comes the curl. He's got a beauty here. Pulls it right in to actually get just a sliver of the 4 foot. You can see it's dead across from the stone edge of the 12, so no double available there. He's got as much separation between his shot stone and the guard as he could possibly get. Jeremy Hardy will take a run at the 2 red stones, try to run the first one back, catch the one that was just delivered. This is close as well. For the top ever so slightly, gets them both. Now his shooter will roll back, bite the center line. So one more chance for Glenn Venance to get around. The scary thing now, you make this good and the run back attempt will be a yellow one coming in. Inside brush was down right away. That is Sebastian Robillard, I believe. He is the third, but it looks like it's just me noticing now, and I'm not familiar with this team, that it is Matt Tolley who holds the broom. And just that little bit light, didn't have enough room to curl. It does make full 12 foot. Looks to be third shot right now, but it's in a dangerous position for Aaron Sluchinski to ignore it. First indication was to roll a little bit. I think he might want to just stay right there, block the path for that draw. Then it leads in a spot where he would be able to run it back too. Certainly doesn't want to roll towards center. Make the hit, and he does stay right there. Looks to be far enough in to be sitting 3. It's a really good shot. So Venance looking at coming towards the 2 yellows on the corner. Tough shot, because if you're tight to the corner guard at all, you'll over-curl those 2 stones by the time you get to them. The other shot they're discussing is to come all the way to the back of the 8-foot, around the wide side, to get as far buried as they can. The draw to the corner looks a little bit more makeable. Certainly a shot that they've seen. To draw wide, get around that corner guard, looks a little iffy. So he's going to draw towards the 2 yellows, corner of the 12-foot. Tricky part of this, from the amount of curl that we've seen, he's got to have line way out there for the longest time. He doesn't need to be anywhere near the corner guard. Big shot here for Glenn Venance, his final stone of the 4th end, without last rock, facing 3, already trailing by 1. Looking to corner freeze the shot stone. Edge of the 12-foot. Nothing out of the brushers so far. There's the curl starting. Well, he can't have the weight to bounce off here. He's in trouble. They're going to have to go around it now by the looks of it. Now, will it stop in time? Boy, that is a great plan B call. He actually comes around those 2 stones. Stayed for shot rock. Still a chance for Aaron Sluchinski to pick up as many as 4, but it is a much tougher shot than it would have been had he rubbed those on the way by. To make a play on that red stone at the back of the 12, the guard's not even in play. He doesn't need to be anywhere near the guard, but it's still a tricky shot, even by the 2 at the edge of the 12-foot. You can see it from the hack-in camera. He can't see all of half of that rock. They're wondering if they can see enough of their own back stone to play the short little angle run, I guess you could call it. Not sure that's any easier than it is to just come after the stone directly, and it's for 4 if you can come at it directly. Such a tough shot to call, as the line is going to look like it's way out there. Yet you cannot afford to touch the Yellowstone on the way by. So Aaron Sluchinski with his final stone in the 4th. Chance to make the delicate tap back, pick up 4 here, break this game wide open. If he's not able to make it, it could be a steal. We could be all tied up. Line's close. They're sweeping for curl. Going to be by the front one. By the stones on the edge of the 12, and with that little bit extra weight that he needed to tap it through, he slides by the one at the back of the 12 as well. The red stone still shot rock. It is a steal of 1 for Glenn Venance. We're all tied up here after 4 ends of play. Sluchinski with last rock in the 5th.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardlines Ice Pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Probably a little sigh of relief from Glenn Venance and a little discussion between the two skips. Dodging the bullet there. Nice draw by Glenn Venance on his last one. Left a very difficult tap back for Aaron Sluchinski, and he just slips by it without making contact. We're tied up here as we begin play in the fifth. Shawn, Joyce with you here live from the Hack2House Alberta Curling Series Men's Major, presented by Curling Stadium Beaumont. C event semifinals. 4 games on here this afternoon. The 4 winners will be right back on the ice tonight, looking for the last 2 spots in the playoffs. Those playoffs start at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, Mountain Time. We have seen really both teams struggle a little bit to get the center guards up, everything over curling. So they're about a foot off the line again, and gives the Sluchinski team a chance to come around it. Barry's top 12. It is shot rock, but essentially with this much curl, that is still just a guard. Matt Tolley will look to come around. Have to think when Aaron Sluchinski called that first stone to come around, his thought process here in the fifth end is, let's keep the blank alive. If we could blank 5 and have last rock in the even ends, we've got 2 hammers to their 1. There is the come around, and that's what I was saying. That yellow stone essentially becomes a guard. All 3 of those pretty much dead lined up so that the thrower in the hack can't see that stone at the top of the 4-foot right now. Dylan Webster's going to look to follow that down, sit on the corner of it. This has got a lot of room. Nothing out of the brushers, now sweeping for curl. This might be a little strong. Gonna slide right by it. Does come to rest, back 12. Venance still sitting 1 now. The 3 stones in the rings all pretty much buried. Nope, you can't see that much. Wondering if you could see any of the yellow from the hacks. He doesn't love the idea of leaving all those yellows around, but he's got to like that his is buried right now. I like that call. Corner freeze the top yellow. Talking about that as an either or, you could come around it to your own. There's a little bit of danger there. If you're playing the either or and you rub the yellow on the way by, you could end up leaving a double. This is the 5th stone of the end, so Aaron Sluchinski will be able to start peeling guards right after this. No mics on these players, but I think the gesture from Sebastian Robillard suggested this is going to have too much weight for the corner freeze. So they're trying to hold the line, play the come around now. Maybe held the line too much, or maybe what he was asking, can we go right to the back one? Gets behind their shot stone just enough that there's no double available. Bennett sits 2. Sluchinski asking Kyle During to get rid of the center guard. Just straight peel here, lose the shooter. Matt Tully throws the lead stones for this team, but he's also the vice. You saw him have a brief discussion with Glenn Venance. They've laid out how they want to play the rest of this end now. Going to play the guard. Beats this fairly high, but he wants to cover that yellow as well. Covers probably half of it. A lot of separation between the two of them. Sluchinski doesn't appear interested in trying to run over the top of the yellow and into the rings. Just straight peel on the guard again. I like that call. These teams are so good at the runbacks, you could be tempted to play it there, play red over the top of yellow into the rings. But with this amount of curl, we're still just on the first to third stones right now. It's really hard to throw this guard and leave that much separation time after time after time. If they bring it in a little closer, you're going to have a better shot at that double run. A little more rotation on this stone. Well, he manages to leave that one even a little bit higher. He's made it even tougher. They were willing to straight peel the last time. You got to figure they're going to straight peel again. One more peel. Expect one more attempt at that long guard. Third's last stone. Aaron Sluchinski might have a decision to make. Gets the guard up again, this time a little bit tighter. And as I said, Aaron Sluchinski, you're down to third's last stone. It's not looking like a blank. Thinking about coming in, freezing to the shot stone. The guards are a little tighter together. You can make a run at the double peel now. The red on the nose. It's close to double run on the two stones in the forefoot. Needs some curl. He'd like to make contact with the stone at the top 12. He'll drive it by everything. And the shooter stays in that neighborhood. So Glenn Venance looking to get the second guard a little tighter now, just maybe tight enough to at least block off the yellow rays. corner freeze that yellow as well. You just want to be real careful not to leave it lined up. Yeah, I'm not sure that he was looking at the yellow. He's indicated for the guard a little wider, and it is Sebastian Robillard looking at, do we not have to take the runaway? They're just going to play the wider guard. So this really almost like a straight guard on shot stone. Skip stones as we play here in the fifth, all tied up. Venance sitting 2 in the 4-foot. Gets the card, but slid that fairly tight. Red over the top of the yellow, back into the 2 in the 4-foot. A little easier now when they're closer together. The only other alternative Sluchinski would have is to play the draw down to the face of shot rock, and if you made that on your first one, you wouldn't have a very easy shot to get your deuce. This is a chance if you can make the run double. Open up some room. He's still got the biter at the back of the 12-foot as well. But this is curling. Needs to be on the outside of that redstone. He's got to be close to the nose. So just picks the yellow out. More importantly, leaves his shooter as a guard and doesn't get the red out of the rings. It's third shot. That stone at the back of the 12. Never going to be a factor now. Glenn Venance with a chance to put on a lot of pressure here. Now they did. Thought the initial call was to come down kind of the face of their own in behind cover. He gestured just before he went back to the other end about staying out in the open. You do have to be a little careful. If he's wide open in the 8-foot, there might be a quad. Robillard was on the brush right from the time he let go. They backed away now. It's got to do some curling. Starting to go. He's got a nice one here. Going to come in, sit on the corner of his own stone. Venance sits 4. 2 of them biting the button. 3 of them solidly in the 4-foot. And all Aaron Sluchinski has left is the cold draw. He's got no backing here. He's got to get by the stone that Venance just threw. So cold draw to the side of the button. Against 4, 3 of them in the 4-foot. Aaron Sluchinski with his final stone. Had a delicate attempt last end where he could have picked up 4, this time throwing against 4. Brushers had picked this up right out of his hand. They've let up a little now. They're waiting for this to curl. Oh, did they oversweep it? They took that out of his hand. And it's going to slide to the back 8 foot. It's a steal of 3. Fooled them a little on the brush. Oversweep it a little bit. Goes to the back 8. Glenn Venance with a steal of 3. Now with a 5-2 lead over Aaron Sluchinski after 5 ends of play.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardlines Ice Pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Gripper first.
Don't forget your brooms.
Yep, you got it. Yellow.
Come on up. Okay, well, what do you got? You got 1, you got 2, yeah!
Just one more throw, please.
You make moments like these possible.
Calling all curlers, novice to pro. Ashland Curling Supply's patented rotator disc system lets you customize your slider right in the store. Velcro attachments make it easy to find the sliding platform that's right for you. Shop Ashland Curling Supplies, 700 McPhillips, online at ashland.com.
Quite a couple of ends for the Venance team out of Penticton. Could have seen 4 count against them. In the 4th, they instead pick up the steal, tie things up. And sitting for themselves in the 5th, managed to pick up a steal of 3. They've got a 3-point lead here as we begin play in the 6th. First stone brought into the top of the 12-foot. Corner guard attempt here. Looking now to come around their own stone top 12. Into the top of the 4-foot, buried. Had to go a little bit to get it by. When they do that, it slides to the back of the 8-foot. It is out in the open. Had to expect that Sluchinski was going to ignore that for now. I was wondering if he might throw the second corner guard, but he's going to look to come around the corner. Thought from the other end, same thing. We're down 3 with 3 ends to play. Throw the second corner. Get a few rocks in play here. A lot of times if you're going to try to go after 3 points, you need 2 corners anyway. Trick to that is to try to even them up, which he did, so there won't be an opportunity for a double peel later on. Still just the 5th stone of the end to come here, so he can't make a play on the guards yet. Eric Colwell being asked to come around their own stone at the top of the 12-foot again. Got a nice one coming in here. So much room coming by that stone at the top of the 12-foot. And yet buried in behind it with just a sliver bite of the button. Sluchinski will look to move these, but you could throw quieter weight at this if you wanted to. It's not really even necessary to kill the red stone as long as you get it behind the tee line. Might, if you're looking to roll that direction, might even be able to touch both of the red stones that are in front of the tee. Could play the straight draw too. I think they're looking at now. Electing to play a full weight hit. Play the double on the two red stones that are in front of the tee line. I don't love the full weight hit, but you know, it's one of those cases where as long as you make whatever shot you called, you should be okay. Cannot afford to roll out here. This is really curling. Make the hit, it's by all of the reds at the back, and it does roll out of play. That'll give Glenn Venance a chance to make a peel on one of the guards. Colwell with the peel. He's going to be very thin on the first one, but nothing really to jam on himself, so makes the peel, rolls the shooter out of play. Sluchinski will look to replace it once. Slide a little tight and into the 12-foot. Doesn't look like there was any thought to trying to keep the shooter here. Just straight peel this out, same as if it was a straight guard. Now he's thin here. Does he come across and kill his own? No, misses it. So Venance continues to sit two. And now Sluchinski has to make a play in the ring somewhere. Could come around the corner guard. Could freeze the back one. He's looking at playing the hit and roll on the back one. I like the freeze on the back one, but how do you get there with ice that curls this hard? You'd have to go so far wide, and by the time you get to the back one, you probably still not on top of it. You might be able to bury on the one at the top of the 4-foot, I suppose. So Jeremy Hardy look over at the corner. How many stones do we have left here? Just the 3. Have to think you need to make 2 of them count. Boy, this is really curling. He's close. Boy, that actually straightened up a little bit. When that started to curl, I thought he was in danger of rolling past the stone in the top of the forefoot. Ends up, he's only just not even quite half buried. Play the short run, could play the pick. They opt for the pick. Has to get by his own stone. Does, makes the hit, rolls the shooter out. Chance to come around the guard now, though. Need to bury this one. You have to force Venance to make a play on the guard. Ton of room by the guard. Curling hard. The question is it going to be deep enough to bury? Well, buried probably half. Easy enough for Glenn to go after it. Glenn Venance with his first here in 6. Looking to pass that yellow stone through the rings. Clips it just enough to put it to the divider, and the shooter will roll through the back of the rings and out of play. Continues to be Venance sitting 1. Sluchinski looking at coming around that corner guard again. It was during thought they could possibly come around the redstone as well. Both are possible, but you'd like to bury around the corner. Hope that Venance leaves you a chance at some kind of a double. Not expecting him to miss the house altogether. If you bury this, he's likely drawing. Got better line this time. Should be able to bury it. They have to be a little careful not to come out the open side. Just bites the 12-foot and is buried. Glenn Venance will be looking to draw, and if he can put this close to the tee line, well, a foot in front of the tee line, he won't leave any kind of a double opportunity. Could force Aaron Sluchinski to take the single here. Glenn Venance with his final stone without last rock here in the 6th, sitting 1, top of the button. Just put this anywhere in the rings where he doesn't leave a double, and he'll force Aaron Sluchinski to use his last rock, try and pick up 1, but this has got some weight on it. This is going to slide deep a little bit. They're trying to bring it as far back as they can now to make it a very thin double. Trailing by 3, I think Aaron Sluchinski's got to take a pass at it. If you can make the double and stick your shooter, you can pick up 2 points here. Because you're fairly thick on the, fairly thin on the first one too, you don't have to throw real big weight at this. That's probably what the discussion was about. How hard do we want to throw this? Looks like the edge of his rock wants to just touch the center line where he makes contact with the red, and it'll be close. He's still backing away from the center line, though. He might have set that release a little bit. This is going to have to curl to get a piece. It's going to slide right by, and it's another steal of 2 for Venance. He now has a 5-point lead, and that'll be handshakes. So Glenn Venance dodges the bullet in 4, steals 3 in 5, and 2 more here in 6. He picks up the 7-2 victory over Aaron Sluchinski. That'll move Glenn Venance into one of the C event qualifying games in just about an hour's time. My name is Shawn Joyce. I want to thank everyone for joining us here on Curling Stadium Beaumont. We will have the C event qualifiers in about an hour's time, and of course you can be with us here on Curling Stadium for all of the championship round action tomorrow starting at 9 a.m.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.